evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to the Policy Committee. We have some newbies here, and I would like for them to introduce themselves quickly. You guys know that I do not care for holding people past 1 hour. So make it short, make it sweet, make it to the point. So if this is your first time coming to the Policy Committee, could you please stand up and introduce yourselves? Starting at that table back there with Cynthia Brown Greenwood and Debbie. Start back there.
Hi, my name is Deidre Rush, and I have a senior FPMSA and a sophomore.
Hello, my name is Ebony Nikki Smith. This is my first time here. Born and raised in Bellwood. Thank you.
Okay.
My name is George Booker, Mayor for the Village of Maywood.
Okay. And gentlemen that just walked past me,
Yes, ma'am.
introduce yourself.
Hi. Will Fisher, educational researcher.
Okay, and gentlemen coming through the door real quickly, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Jerry Jenkins, Proviso East graduate, retired from Proviso West.
All right. Welcome to the Policy Committee. Eileen, we know who you are.
Thank you. I run for the Village of Maywood for trustees.
All my school boards till now.
All right. Ms. Martin?
Well, this is my first policy meeting too, principal meeting. I'm the new superintendent here. Thank you all for coming.
All right. If you guys could please open up, and while we are talking, please get something to eat. I cooked all day yesterday, so I expect for that food to be gone. If you could just pick up your packets and go through and turn to Press Policy 2.105, please. So the way that, for you all that are new, the way that press policy works, if you see anything in pink or I'm gonna say red because I'm a Delta. If you see anything in red, that's been eradicated. So what they suggest is actually in green. And so what I did was I kind of highlighted some of the things that we should be discussing. And because we do have people in here that are running for School District 209, they need to be aware of exactly what these policies say. This was not done to us, but I want to make sure, in all fairness, that you guys had a greater understanding of what is going on. So let's look at that. 2.105 real quickly. Ethics and gift bans. Are there any questions regarding that? And that's, to be clear, no employee should be, is that the one? Yeah. Here we go. Is that it?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between this gift ban and the State Board of Elections gift ban?
That I do not know, but this is just our policy. This is school board policy. Yep. 2.105. I really want to talk briefly about number one. and number 2. To be clear, that will be enforced. To be clear, 2.105, no employee shall perform any political activity during compensated time. So if you on your job, we expect you to be on your job, not passing out somebody's campaign literature.
Is it also in the facility, because you said on time, right, and there's a time when you're off, does that include anything on the facility, on the premises?
On the premises,
Okay, 'cause
they should not be doing any of that at all. And superintendent, we gotta hold you to the fire with that.
But it just says compensated time. But if
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not
they
compensated,
working
then I'm on
is
premises.
compensated time. So they know that they're not supposed to be doing that. And if you look where it's highlighted, they want us to add the word district. Number 5, travel expenses for meetings to discuss the district, but that's not a big deal for you all. So let's go to 2.110. Terms and duties. Got it, Ms. Williams? Is that not in there?
It's not moving.
Oh,
Okay, it's not.
So what I'm saying is there's probably another part of the code where it speaks to
There
the
is part of
Yeah, on the premises.
Yay.
Right, that's what I'm saying, there's different between compensation time.
that's okay, they got it back.
And that part, that's what I was questionable, but. Yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, that may be, but I'm saying, I don't know. Like, that's shocking, but you can't smoke on school premises, so you can't smoke on parking lot either.
Yes, God.
It's a part of the school. What are you saying? On page 3? Yeah, I'm on page 3. Yeah. So,
Under definitions, this is the one.
yeah, I'm saying if we're to talk about school. And this still refers back to, right?
Sorry guys, we're going to look at press policy 2.120, board development. Please pay attention to number 1. They just removed the word and the last sentence is and improving students, staff and improving students' outcomes. Number 2, when you are elected, each board member must complete the training for the Open Meetings Act no later than 90 days after taking the oath of office. You guys might want to circle that.
Yeah.
You will get a certificate. The district will know that you passed the Open Meetings Act. They will go through the superintendent and they will let him know and the attorney firm that you did not pass it. And you are in jeopardy for that. Number 3, please read that. If you are running for office. Scrolling down,
Which page are we on?
62.
you got it, Mayor? Mayor, do you have it?
Yes.
Okay. Please look at press policy 4.330, revenue and investments. There's a slight change in that one. And if you look towards the very bottom, where it says the district shall, that is something that our policy committee has to adopt. It is in green. I'm gonna let you read it for a second. There was nothing, that I noted in 4.170. I think it was, hold on for a second, please. Yep, 4.170, safety and security. This is something that I ran on, school safety. And when I give my update to the community, Mr. Ashoff and I, we've been to the Triple I conference, and he actually had the opportunity to partake in an active shooting drill. So it's not like it is just one component where the police are called. I think there were like 15 components, if that's right, Mr. Ashoff. There are several layers, and what we need to be working on right now is a reunification center. It is not a matter of if it's gonna happen, it is a matter of when it's gonna happen. And when it's gonna happen, this district needs to be prepared. I'll get to you in 1 minute. So the first thing that we need to put on the radar is where parents can get in and out and get information about their child. The one thing that we learned was you never tell a parent that I'm sure your child is okay, because you don't know that. We don't know if that child is okay. You know, all we can do is say this is where your son or daughter or grandchild was taken. And the AEDs, that's in green. The policy committee has to adopt that. So I'll let you read it. I'm hoping we have more than just one.
Do you want me to check with each school nurse to ask that question, because I'm not
Yes.
sure?
Do we know if we should be having more than one?
So Mrs.
Are you talking about the AEDs?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an entire AED committee, and we're writing the AED plan, and so we have AEDs throughout the building. We're
Okay.
also crafting now an entire emergency procedure manual. And so in there will be maps of schools and where all the AEDs are, when they're gonna, what the policy is for changing them, and how we're monitoring all that to make sure they're working. So that is all in the works, but the AEDs are already on the maps.
Okay.
And we are training our staff on that Thursday. So they'll know.
All right. And as you know, let's look at policy 5.10, equal employment opportunity and minority recruitment. I'm just gonna keep my comments to myself. If you look at the green, we must add reproductive health decisions and family responsibilities, and that policy 5.10. Please note.
I have a question.
I'm sorry, Mir.
How you doing?
I'm good.
So the stuff, so like it's got plus one. Yeah, but how do we know what it is? I mean, can we get a digital copy of it so we can
Yes.
click on it to open up the?
Yes. You gotta sign in. Mrs. Horton, could you raise your hand? Okay, Mrs. Horton is our secretary, and so what she does with our people on our committee, she sends out the digital copy. So if you sign up, and she will make sure that you get the digital
So
copy.
they did go out, so maybe she's not on that distribution list.
She's not on the
Maybe she's
distribution.
added as well.
We'll make sure that you get it. Please know who our complaint managers are.
Can you go back to the complaint manager?
Sure.
Oh, you're in here, okay. Mr. Brown. And Dr. Diana Thomas. So that, there's just two complaint managers?
That's it.
And Mr. Pavone is the personnel director, isn't he?
Yes.
The director of personnel?
No, he's the,
Human resources, personnel, is that?
operations.
Because it seems like they're saying that Mr. Pavone is the complaint manager for equal employment opportunity. Typically, your HR person is not the person who takes your complaints, because your complaints are against people who the HR manager works for. And so am I gonna get a fair shot if I go to Mr. Pavone? That seems very odd to me. I would question why Mr. Pavone is the complaint, manager for the district, and also the human, because his job is to advise management on what their positions are related to human resources. So I would question that. It doesn't seem right to me. I've never seen an organization where the HR manager, or whatever you call him, whatever, but he's the head of the HR, right?
Yes.
I've never seen where there's not a separate
Yep.
avenue to address those kinds of issues. Superintendent, I would
You mean
question
outside of the agency?
outside of the
Like,
whole
if it's a
organization. In every
meeting.
federal agency, there's a person, an EEO office.
Yeah.
And then there's a personnel office.
So in the organizations and schools, these types of things would typically go through the HR. And if it goes beyond that, there is other,
I'm aware of external, but as
What
an
if I'm
employee,
uncomfortable with it?
I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
I sat in on a meeting one time with them, and it was terribly, unfair to the employee who had the complaint. I don't know about schools. I'm just saying that there's an inherent conflict of interest.
why don't I do this? I will look at how the other surrounding high school districts do it around here.
Yeah.
But this is not abnormal from where I've been.
well, it may be abnormal, it may not be abnormal, but what I'm saying to you is, as an employee, I am not gonna be comfortable coming to the person who advises the managers on what HR decisions to make. So I'm just saying, and I'm only saying that because people come to me with complaints, and then they're referred to Mr. Pavone, and they are not comfortable with that because they believe that he is a management representative, that's all I'm saying. But I see here, could you go to Dr. Diana Thomas, because she's not on the top? It's, the first one said,
But you can go.
it says, you can go to either one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Scroll back up to the complaint manager.
okay, so that might
So if
be your
you're on-
saving grace. If I don't want to go to Luke Pavone, I can take my complaint to Dr. Diana. Okay. She works where?
So Dr. Thomas, works, she manages the.
Nice. So is she here during the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No, she's here.
She's here during the day as well.
Yeah, she's here.
None. It's gonna end up back with Mr. Pavone, I'm sure. Yeah, that's a good point.
Could
Why is-
everyone
why-
please
why is-
look
why is
at
she there?
5.90. 5.90, neglected child reporting.
So that means she has access to all the personnel records then if she needs them? Right.
The state took away the last sentence in there, because that's highlighted in red.
And what page are you on? I'm sorry, Sam.
5.9.
29. Oh, okay. Can you just follow this down there and share? The first reading is only the last one. So the first reading is this board meeting.
This is our first reading, guys.
Is this the first reading?
This is the first reading.
Just put in a packet for information.
Please look at 6.660, curriculum content.
$6.660?
Yes,
6.60?
yes, ma'am.
That's page 42.
Curriculum content.
Go to page 42.
Only for you, that's my copy. Yeah, okay, whatever. All right, please note the green. Policy committee needs to accept that, or I suggest that we should.
So the greens are what the law is saying we have to add to the policy.
Right. And the
does the
red-
red mean it's optional for us to add stuff or not add
Well,
stuff?
we could, but they don't suggest it.
What's theirs?
Yeah.
So when do they suggest that we?
Once we go over it and discuss it, isn't that what Nicholas said? Yeah.
Yes.
Once we go over it and discuss it and come back, and if you say, well, I don't want that in there, I want this in there, we go back to the policy director, Nicholas Bauman, talk to him about it, bring it back to you, then bring it to the board.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Sure. Again, anything in red?
Yeah.
Everything in green. it's my recommendation that I am just one person on the policy committee.
Yeah, some of it is mandatory, some of it is their recommendation. I think, like Katrina said, that press plus would tell you, give you more information.
Guidance. Please look at 7.10, equal educational opportunities.
Page 52.
Yes.
It's my recommendation that we accept that.
What, can't hear you.
My recommendation that we accept that, the ingrained. Look at sex equity.
I mean, if you look at what has changed thus far, you can guarantee that there are going to be changes to the federal, school.
It will be
We
changed.
don't really know what that looks like yet. So is he saying that he's going to eliminate the Department of Ed? We don't know
No,
what that
right, but
means.
I'm saying like right now, it's clear on what he's doing in terms of DEI.
Right.
And, you know, he's changed the whole focus of that, so I think you're gonna see some of that filter through, and particularly as it relates to gender. For
A
sure.
lot of
Yes.
And maybe other stuff.
That is gonna be a hot topic with us.
This takes it away.
The state could still protect his rights, but it could impact your ability to run. Right.
All right, and lastly, let's look at 8.10.
Where are we at, 59? Thank you.
8.10. 8.10. 59.
Mr. Jenkins.
Let me get on my high horse about this.
Eight point ten, connection with the community.
And I'm trying to parse my words so the Sandralisms won't come out.
Let them rip.
You know I'm so ready to do that right now. Look. If you are, I use this word, I know I have to be good. I got my pearls on. Okay. If you are blessed to be elected the president of the school board, you are the official spokesperson for the district. And you do work closely with the superintendent. People that know me know I have a love for community. And it is God, family, and community. Everything else falls by the wayside. That's why I love wearing that red. If you sit there and you don't engage in the community, and when the community comes back at you, that's your fault. A good president is a leader, and I'm not here advocating because I got enough on my plate. What I'm saying is, whoever is the next school board president needs to be involved. not just in Maywood, not just in Bellwood. You need to collaboratively work with every mayor in the Proviso Township district and work closely with your superintendent. And again, I'm looking at number 5, earn the community's goodwill and respect. That's important. Oh, notice I left that word out. Because not everyone is trustworthy. You can say you trust, I trust you, or I'm a trustful person, but your actions dictate otherwise. So I'm gonna get off my high horse. I said what I said. Let's bring it down a little. Public relations, let's look at that. Rolling down. And when it comes to the media, when they call me, it's always no comment. I am not the school board president. I should not be making any kind of statements. It is up to the school board president and the superintendent. Please read that. Hence the word effective community engagement. Sitting on the board just does not mean that you are sitting on there and getting props. You need to be involved, again, in the community. I would suggest that we adopt everything that is in green. Are there any questions?
Okay, Mary.
Yeah.
So, I would say if I'm on the school board, and you said I have to be out in the community, I could be very impactful, being on the board, read my board packets, holding the superintendent accountable to the actions of what the board, don't mean I need to be in the community. I mean, I have any children in the high school, I don't need to be engaged like that, but I need to be informed because I'm a taxpayer here and I care about how we spend our tax dollars, how we have student achievement, how we promote students getting to school, getting in class to get instructional learning time during the time period that they are. Just because I'm not in the community don't make me ineffective.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just, for me.
That's what I heard though.
Yeah, for me personally, it is being involved, and I don't have any children in
But
this.
involved don't mean I have to go to every basketball.
Well, I
No,
think
that's
that's the question, is what does effective mean?
Right.
And what does involvement mean? And you're
Right.
correct.
Right.
So my question is, when you said being involved, because becoming a school board member, when I served on the school board, like we had a training, and they say to the board members, stay off the dance floor, be careful with your involvement with certain
Yeah.
things.
Right.
So, when we say involvement should be identified, like involvement.
Well, no school board member should actually be involved in the day-to-day operations of a school. That's not our responsibility at all. That is truly not that is a no-no as far as I'm concerned.
So stay.
That's why we have the superintendent.
I just wanna say, I think
Stay off
that,
that.
I think it means being visible and people
Exactly.
knowing you. It doesn't mean that you're expected to go to every event
No.
that happens in the community. And I will caution, one thing that's really critical as a school board member is that you watch your engagement with individual parents when you're out in the street, because they're telling you one story, and really your duty is to find out from your officials what actually transpired. So a lot of times, you have to tell people, that's nothing that I can talk about. There is a chain of command in the school. Did you speak to the principal? Because people will draw you in and try to coax you onto their position. So there is that line you have to be careful.
Just parents, they're engaged, just their engagement with parents, but also their engagement with staff at the school too.
Yeah.
Like I said, that is not our job. We should not be doing that. day-to-day operations for the principal, superintendent. It is not for a school board member at all.
Is that updated in the policy?
We were told that.
Is it
It's
in
in
the
there, yeah. We are not to be in, it's in there. I can get that for you, Mayor, if you want that press policy where it states that. Would you like a copy of that?
Oh, no, I mean, I want the additional copy so I can click on it.
Okay. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as the policies, what are the consequences if a board member or district employee doesn't adhere to these policies?
As of right now, there are no consequences.
Well, then, there's, for employees, there's
For
some
employees,
consequences.
yes, but not for school board members.
And it's dependent upon what the act is, I don't know who asked the question. It's dependent upon what the act is, right, and then we have progressive discipline with the district, we also, there's a number of avenues we go through for discipline. When it comes to the Board of Education, from my understanding, it would go to the ISC or the ROE, every area has a regional superintendent, and complaints would go there.
So what's the ISC and what's the ROE?
So West 40,
West
Oh,
40.
okay, and the ROE?
Regional Office of
Okay.
Education. So outside of Cook County,
But I don't
there's a
understand
Regional
the
Office of
acronyms.
Education.
Usually they'll put a school board member, they'll sanction you for, you know.
The school board is a self-governing body. So if a school board member acts inappropriately, the board itself should determine what is the appropriate action to take. Because it's called a self-governing body in Illinois.
Is it in the policy though, that the board would take action against that board member?
That's not right.
It's a self-governing body.
You can't remove them from office. You
Can't do anything.
They don't get paid, so you can't like take any pay from them.
Because they're elected, what you gonna do?
No.
Well, I think that's the voters will then make a decision.
The next 4 years, exactly.
So from my understanding of it, and then my knowledge of being at the state level, it's the regional officer, the regional education officer who can remove a board member. But I have never heard that.
No.
It would take, I think it has to be some very serious offenses for the regional superintendent to remove an elected official who was elected by the
Unless they cancel it.
That hasn't happened in our
Well,
town.
Then you make it. Right.
Any other questions? If you have any questions or comments, Ms. Ford, please raise your hand again. She's our secretary. Please email her the next policy meeting. We will get together before we give this to the board, and we'll work on it. And thank you all for coming out. Please enjoy the food.
There's a sign-in sheet.
There's a sign-in sheet floating around.
Email address,
It's B Horton at pths209.org.
Here.
Yes.
This is just a really small part of the school.
This is small. Thank you all for coming out. You can sit back and enjoy the camaraderie with each other. There's plenty of food here. And enjoy.
Whether or not you're applying and adhering and enforcing the policy throughout the district. So it's just passing policy really has Well, I'm just saying, I'm talking about enforcing policy and